My name is Mary Coolidge, here with Byron Nicholai for the World Youth Leadership Culture Night. And so, welcome to Galena.
Thank you.
Why would you use a chipmunk voice in your first couple videos?
The reason why is because we've all watched Alvin and the Chipmunks, right? And we love listening to them sing. And so when I was using the high-pitched voice, I thought of, Alvin and the Chipmunks and how entertaining it was to listen to them. And it would also make the track go by faster, because if I did use my regular voice, it would be very slow. And then I didn't think that people would, have the time to listen to the whole song. And so maybe if I sped it up, they would listen to it. And it made the song sound much funnier than it actually did.
Okay. So you have a single mother and 5 siblings. How did the fame from your videos affect life at home?
It really didn't affect my life at home, because I've been growing up in Tuksuk for about at least more than 10 years. And a lot of the people there know me, so it was still the same. Nothing has changed. The only thing that changed is me traveling to other places to sing. And so staying at home, it actually never changed. It really never changed, except I would spend a lot of time in my room making videos for Facebook or YouTube. So I think that's the only thing that has changed, besides traveling.
How did it feel when you went from performing at a place like Jamai to performing at Washington, D.C. in front of the president?
Every time I think about that, it always amazes me, because growing up in Turkcell, it's kind of hard to get noticed, because it's so small and the world is so big. But then with social media, it's helped me to grow. It's helped me to have about 30,000 followers on Facebook, and every time I think about going from Jamai to like Washington, D.C., I never have words to explain it. And so it seems like something that would come out of a movie. So when I tell you anything is possible, take it from me. I went from living in a village to living in Anchorage by myself, just traveling all over the world.
What is one piece of advice you would like to give to the students of Galena?
Like I just said now, when I was growing up in Tuksuk, it was always very hard to get noticed. I mean, if you saw me, you would probably think I was just a normal village teenager, and so I just kept my culture with me all the time, and I would always be singing, even if I'm with my friends. You know those memes you see? It's like when the sidewalk is too small, so there's always got to be one in the back. Well, I was always the one in the back, and so when I was always in the back, I would always be singing about what I'm doing. And so that was a lot of practice, and no matter who you are or where you come from, anything is possible. I know a lot of people say that, but I really mean what I say. Anything is possible.
What is your inspiration for writing songs?
Most of my inspiration comes from the elder talks we used to have in high school. Every Friday for about 15 minutes, elders would come into the school and just talk about, how life was when they were younger. And so like in Nakhut, it's like do's and don'ts. And so having to have listened to these elders talk for about 4 years every Friday, I learned a lot from them. And so I think about what they told me and then just shorten it and then make it into a song. But before I make the song, I think about what I'm going to say first. Let's see. Well, I can't think of an example right now, but that's where the inspiration for my songs come from most of the time.
Describe a time in your career where you doubted your influence on your community.
That's a good question. Could you please say it again?
Describe a time in your career where you doubted your influence on the community.
I'd say probably when I was in 8th grade, because with our high school dance group, there's like at least 3 drummers, and then I was the youngest drummer at the time, but then so the 2 oldest drummers, they were about to graduate, and so I would have to be the leader. But then the next year when I was the leader, being in 8th grade, I was like pretty much almost the youngest. I was 14 years old. I was the lead drummer, and then I didn't think that they would listen to me when I sing or when I tell them something to do. The National Island Dance Group, that is. But then as I kept trying, with the help of our teachers, I really wanted to keep the dance going, and so I just kept practicing and practicing. And soon enough, we all got used to it, and then it became like second nature to us. So I'd go to practice, sing, and then the dancers would, just dance, and then for an hour. And then once that hour comes up, we'll just go home, and then we do that, every Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or every Tuesdays and Thursdays.
When did you first realize you could make a difference?
I first realized that when I showed up on KTU Channel 2 News. There were few whole articles about me, and then I never thought that would happen. And so I was thinking, with my songs and with the videos I'm posting, it could actually help the youth around Alaska, or probably even outside of Alaska, to learn how to dance or to learn how to sing. Because when I went to Aniak, it was in January. I went there, and but before that, I was in Napaimi, and so some of these kids from Aniak, they went to this camp I was at, and then I only taught like 4 or 5 of them how to dance some of my songs. But then when I got invited to Aniak, I went there, and at least like 30 of them were dancing my songs, and I was thinking, if I could only teach 4 of these kids, they could go back home and teach more of the kids there. So I was thinking of that, and it was just pretty amazing, because the time and effort they took to learn how to dance the song just amazed me. So that's when I kind of learned that I could actually make a difference.
So, what do you love about what you're doing the most?
What I love doing is the thing that I love most about what I do is the traveling and the people I meet, because it's never the same people that I meet. I remember when I went to Arizona, and it was just these Native Americans, these Indians. It was just so different from us, and seeing the different cultures around the world, how they dance, the powwows and the flute singings, and some of the bigger drums the Indians use, and I think that's one of the things I love most about what I do. And also going to other villages and having kids come up to me and say, I watched your videos, I can sing these songs, like there's no Yupik dance here, but watching your videos, it's kind of, I know how to dance your songs, like the Ayam Yupik and your mom and your dad. So hearing things like that is what I love most.
What does it mean to respect traditional ways?
That's a pretty hard question, because I always think about, what I do, the songs that I make, they're very different, and it's not very traditional from what I've learned growing up. But then what I do is to help others, with the songs, they have messages in them. And then I went to this this conference in Anchorage, and then Marjorie Tabo was speaking about how, with the tattoos she makes, that I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I think this, like, if our people were able to do this, if our people were able to make songs about helping others and travel, then I'm pretty sure they would do it. So it's like, I don't. That's a really good question. I mean, I know what I want to say, but then I just can't answer it. That's a really good question.
I think that's all the questions.
That I really want to answer that question, but
Is there? I'm sorry. Is there anything you would like to add?
not really at the moment. I pretty much said whatever I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you.
Oh man, I really wanted to answer that question. That was a pretty good
answer
one.
it, we're still going.
I'm gonna do the best that I could. When I went to this conference in Anchorage, Marjorie Taubon was presenting, and she was looking at designs and colors of the tattoos that she has been working on. But then she was talking about how, using colors wasn't traditional. But then she said that, man, like, if it was available for her people at that time, then she was pretty sure that they would use it. And so with new things that we adapt to, then if we don't use them like almost in everyday lives, then I know. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say here? It's like, just because it wasn't available for them at their time doesn't mean we can't use it. I mean, if it was available during their time, I'm pretty sure they would have used it. Like the color tattoo, a long time ago, I think this is what Marjorie Taubman was talking about. When the Inupiat people, when they would do these traditional tattoos, they would only use black because that was the only color available for them. Or I'm really not sure, but then that's what I'm assuming. But then Marjorie Taubman was talking about how using colored tattoos wasn't traditional. But then she said that if it was available at her ancestors' time, then she was pretty sure that they would use it. So that's what I wanted to say. Just because it's not traditional doesn't mean it's traditional. I'm like putting a modern twist to the Yupik culture. You know what I'm saying? I'm using what I have because back when our ancestors were living, they didn't have anything like technology, or they didn't have anything like Facebook. All they had was probably kayaks and their igloos and their sod houses and their hunting equipment. But what we have today is much more. And so I'm using what I have just like they did. So that's why my things are traditional, is because it's very different from what our culture does today with the dances and the songs. Because the songs with the Yupik culture, a lot of these songs, they're stories, like berry picking stories, hunting stories, but with the songs that I sing, they have messages like listen to your mom and your dad, and when someone does something to you, don't retaliate. So that's why I thought that was a good question.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.